Hi, I'm Daz and she's Bee, and we're on a 12-week road trip round France with our boys and our greyhound Sammy. Join us as we explore the history, beauty and fun we can squeeze in while getting to grips with the challenges of working and home educating on the road as a family in France, living a life less ordinary as we escape in the motorhome.
Well, good morning. This is very different to my usual morning walk. We've parked up on a farm. We woke up to the sound of birdsong and I've just walked past a chateau. Someone's come to say hi to Sammy. Hello. Are you gorgeous? Are you gorgeous? You are. And you have a friend coming to say hi too. Did you get wet last night? There was a bit of a storm, wasn't there? Yeah, the chateau that we just walked past, some interesting history there. Part of it was taken over by the Royal Canadian Air Force during 1944 and there was a runway built on it. And it fell into disrepair in the 1990s, only to be renovated by a family a few years later. That tends to be the way with chateaux these days. So just finishing what felt like more than an hour's morning walk, and our campsite is just, or our air is just at the brow of that incline. And behind me in distance, that's Bayeux, where we're headed today. Stormy skies.
Slight water problem.
Well, I've got water going up my armpit. Literally 5 minutes ago, I was sat enjoying this storm after all the hot weather we've had, and then Daz rushed out and he pointed out the fact that this was bowing horribly. I mean, what can I say? I enjoy watching a rainstorm. I just didn't realise there was a sea of water above my head. Sorry. Well, I'm just grateful. I went out for an hour and a half's walk this morning. And there was none of this, there was a hint in the sky. How are you feeling, Daz, on this Father's Day?
Great,
Happy
to be
Father's
honest.
Day.
I'd rather be out getting wet in the wild like this than be sat in our four walls at home. I just don't want the roof to collapse whilst I'm trying to relax inside. Please, no more disasters. Day, I want one day off. Come on, Mother Nature, one day.
We'll probably, if we go and see the Bayeux tapestry today, no doubt somehow we'll set fire to it. So this morning we're walking amongst the biggest war grave in France. I think it's around 4,000 on this side of the road, and then on the other side of the road there's another, I think it was 1,800 graves. And what's significant is that we're seeing they're so young, they are really so very young, 19s, 20s, and we're just going to go and see if we can find a British man that was awarded posthumously Victoria Cross for bravery. Corporal S. Bates, Victoria Cross, the Royal Norfolk Regiment, died aged 23. His parents proudly remember him as a true Camberwell boy and a loving son. So we're walking along in Bayeux. Anyway, we're on our way to the Bayeux tapestry now, walking through the old town, or the old city, because there is a cathedral, therefore it must be a city. And I said to my children, there's a Hotel de Ville in every town, city in France, but it's not a hotel. And they were kind of like, well, what is it then? And I went, I don't actually know. So good old Google, just did a check, and it just means City Hall. Whoa, nearly fell over. There you go, that can go in an outtake. So Hotel de Ville is the City Hall. What Daddy's just spotted on the side of this watermill. Have a guess. Oh, it possibly is still the toilet, but I'm guessing they don't just fire the contents out the bottom. A plop drop, as we know in the motorhome world. Okay, look what Daddy's just spotted. 1987, this place was opened by what was then the Prince and Princess of Wales, now King Charles, and also Lady Diana, or Princess Diana, Princess of Wales, who did pass away in the car crash in Paris. And we went to the actual crash site, didn't we, a few years ago? Right, so boys, you've got some Easter eggs to spot whilst we're in Bayeux Tapestry. Of course, because we went to the Space Centre recently, you need to look out for Halley's Comet that appears. We need to look out for, so I'm going to read these off. Obviously Harold getting the arrow in the eye, because obviously we're not sure whether that definitely happened, but it definitely appears in the Bayeux Tapestry. When Harold takes his oath at the beginning, Edward's funeral, so Edward the Confessor, who is buried in Westminster Abbey, we've seen his grave, so we've got to look out for Edward's funeral at the beginning. We've got to look out for them building those ships, the Normans building the ships when they're on their way, okay? We've got William having a discussion with his half-brothers, and then when the castle's being built, William raises his helmet after his fall from a horse, the death of Harold, which we spoke about, and that's it. So this is the first bit of the Tower of London that William the Conqueror built, which is the White Tower. And all of us have gone to visit the White Tower, haven't we, in the Tower of London? Yeah. And it's certainly a bigger set of towers now. This is bizarre. So we're in the middle of Bayeux, and we're looking at how a village was formed with the church and the manor and the rural farm buildings, etc. And it's actually East Meon, which is just up the road from us. What are the chances? Well, I say what are the chances, it's kind of likely, seeing as he was hanging around Winchester and London. And this is Winchester Cathedral, built in 1079. Well, we thought we were going to get excited then, and we thought this was the actual Doomsday Book written 20 years after old Will was in charge. But no, it's just a facsimile, a copy. So I would highly recommend coming to see the Bayeux Tapestry. It's shrouded in darkness, obviously to protect the ancient tapestry, which is about 1,000 years old. And it's an audio guide. They've got an adult audio guide and a children's audio guide, and it just starts automatically. You don't have to press any buttons or anything. So it was really, really good. It was really useful as we were going along and looking at the numbered sections, but you weren't allowed to take photographs. I could see my son posing in the background. What was interesting about the tapestry is that there was a whole section at the beginning that I didn't know actually existed. The whole section where Edward the Confessor says, "Oh yes, you can be King of England, Harold. Harold, you must go out to France and tell William that you're going to be King of England." And poor old Harold, he gets blown off course, goes to Poitiers, gets arrested, and then is kind of under pain of death. And whilst he's under pain of death, he kind of goes, yeah, of course, William, you can be king when Edward the Confessor dies. So there was this whole big story before Edward the Confessor actually did die, and we saw that in quite gruesome detail, before Harold went, yeah, I'm going to be king, and then Will wasn't very happy about it. And then we had the Bayeux Tapestry as we know it. So it was really, really interesting. There were some funny observations in there, such as a few naked people, a few willies in there, which made us giggle. And we also saw some hounds on board. The detail was incredible considering its age. Some of the other facts that I found interesting were that it was used as a tarpaulin during the French Revolution. So obviously it went into a state of disrepair and it wasn't being looked after, and they just shoved it on top of some weapons during the French Revolution. So we're desperate for pizza. I was annoying my children by not actually looking up something on my phone. So I said, right, okay, I'll look up a pizza place on my phone. And there was one place that was open, and here it is.
It's a pizza vending shop, but unfortunately all our pizzas have been sold. Sorry kids, let's find somewhere else.
What's the flavour then?
I have no idea.
Not lemon? Custard?
I don't know.
And what do you think your flavour is, Phoenix?
Like darky light chocolate.
Darky light chocolate.
So the chocolate though. They're softer than I remember.
So the boys are sampling at some traditional French cuisine.
Quite juicy.
Ooh.
Like watery.
We've actually seen someone making some macarons on a French channel. And it is quite an art form. The restaurant must have known I was coming for Daddy's special Father's Day takeaway pizza meal in this glorious air.
Okay.
I bet Daddy was.
Done to my wig.
I bet Daddy was spitting feathers over paying €10. Don't drop them on the floor. But look, check out all of the courgettes on there, or the zucchinis. Etienne, open and reveal your pizza.
Where's mine?
Voila! Enjoy, everybody.
Actually, yours looks nice.
Yeah, it also looks very good. Happy Father's Day, you.
Merci.
Cheers.
Join us next time as we explore the rest of Normandy and we head south to the beautiful Loire Valley, where things start to go wrong.